Hey guys, welcome to Smack Talk's Hell in the Cell review. Yeah, this is going to be a fun review. So let's get straight on with it. Let's hit the music. Let's get on with probably the most annoying ending to a pay-per-view ever. Here is 2019's Hell in the Cell review. So we kicked off with the best match of the night, and that was Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship in a Hell in the Cell match. I'm glad that we got the Hell in the Cell, one match at the start and one match at the end. I do like that format. If you're going to have multiple Hell in the Cell matches, literally have one at the start and have one at the end. But usually you think the one at the end would be the best one, but no, this was definitely the best one, the first one of the night. Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks were just absolutely brilliant. You had Sasha attack Becky from the start, which was great. Before the ring even came down, Banks just absolutely destroyed Becky Lynch. Becky got momentum back. She kicked the steel door, you know, the Hell in the Cell door into Sasha's Banks' face, and then she got the chain which was meant to use to lock the Hell in the Cell. She took that off her and she started smacking Sasha Banks in the head with that. That was cool. Then we had some brilliant spots with the chair shots through Sasha Banks as well, kendo sticks, all sorts of. We had Becky Lynch go through a table for a meteora, which was absolutely freaking beautiful. We had Sasha Banks linked up on the top, in the corner on a chair which was held up by kendo sticks, and Becky Lynch just threw herself onto Sasha Banks on that. That was just absolutely brutal. It was just a hard-hitting match. Everything these two women went through was absolutely fantastic. We had Sasha Banks using the kendo stick as part of her, the Banks statement, which was absolutely fantastic. Sasha's attack on Becky Lynch's arm, putting her arm into the Hell in the Cell door and just smashing the door onto her. Again, this was working. Becky selling that arm throughout the whole match was absolutely brilliant as well. And that was the best thing. Like, everything they did just looked painful. Those parts where I just went, oh, a few times, and that's what you want to see in a Hell in a Cell type of match. You want it to look absolutely like a car crash, and that's what we got. It was like two women who had, it was like somehow they knew that they could do whatever they want in this Hell in a Cell, and it wouldn't be this, ending DQ. It was weird that, but yeah, absolutely powerful. I mean, at the end, Sasha Banks is there getting steel chairs, throwing them in there, and Becky Lynch uses the. It looks like Becky's out, and it looks like Sasha's about to finish her off, but Becky gets her into a Beck Exploder on the top rope, throws her down, puts her straight into the disarmer, and Sasha Banks taps out. Brilliant. I thought this was a absolutely fantastic match, best match of the night. You can tell both women went all out, and then you have Becky, who just absolutely looks like she's been through hell herself, celebrating in the cell. And then you have Sasha Banks at the top rope, absolutely injured, in tears, looking at Becky Lynch like, I will get my revenge on you. That was a brilliant. So if that feud continues, cool. Maybe one more match. Hopefully that will go on at Survivor Series. But oof, what a damn good start to Hell in the Cell. Then we had the tag team match of Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan taking on Erick, Rowan and Luke Harper. I'm so glad they actually changed the stipulation of this tag team match to a tornado tag team match, so we didn't have to have tags at all. It just worked. It absolutely really worked for this match. I think a standard tag team match would have hampered what the destructiveness of these, the first two matches were really hard hitting matches. Luke Harper and Erick Rowan just came out just absolutely destructive, taking out Roman and Daniel Bryan very quickly. You can see their time as the Bludgeon Brothers really coming into effect there, where they're well-oiled tag team. They've been a tag team throughout the whole WWE career, so that seemed to absolutely work in their favour. Daniel Bryan getting the brunt of most physical attacks from Erick Rowan, which was good to see there as well. And it was good to see Roman absolutely getting taken out from the start. Biggest threat there from Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns was Roman himself. So Erick and Luke absolutely taking him out first, and it was really smart as well, because halfway through the match there was chances where Erick Rowan was trying to pin Daniel Bryan, and you had Luke Harper watching on the side to keep Roman Reigns out. Again, very sound tag team strategies there, which was great. Obviously Daniel Bryan wouldn't go down easily. This frustrated both Erick Rowan and Luke Harper. They pulled off the ringside post again, you know, like that protective barrier, and they used that to attack Roman, put him through to the WWE into the crowd, which was cool. It looked like they were about to finish Daniel Bryan through the commentating table, but Daniel managed to fight himself out. Roman Reigns comes out of nowhere, spears Erick Rowan out. It's now just Harper and Bryan. It looks like Harper's going to get the best of him. Roman comes back out from nowhere again, Superman punch, running knee to Harper, and a spear. That finishes the match. And not just that, we also had a kind of like yes moment where Daniel Bryan is about to shake hands with Roman Reigns. He gives out his hand, he pulls off, and then he goes for a hug. He goes for the hug. Roman looks like, no, he's not having it, and he starts having that cheeky smile like, yeah, alright, let's have a hug. And they hug out, and the crowd are going yes. Surprisingly enough, the fans were absolutely cheering for this match, which was surprising. I thought the crowd would have gone against Roman for him winning the match, but no, I'm actually glad about that. A decent, strong start to the show. Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks really stealing it at the start, and just Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns and Luke Harper and Erick Rowan just continuing that momentum of very good, physically strong matches. So yeah, really pleased with this match. Then we had Randy Orton versus Ali. This is one of the matches which was added onto the card on the day. This started off with a backstage segment where Ali was talking about pretty much his momentum being broken up, and that pretty much the draft is a great opportunity for him to rebuild himself, which is good. You know, Ali, for me, is one of the best superstars on SmackDown Live. I hope they keep him on SmackDown because he is absolutely talented as hell, and I think he should be on the biggest brand, and SmackDown becoming the biggest brand feels like it. But yeah, Randy Orton interrupts that interview. He states he's the one who caused Ali to be injured, which led to Kofi getting all those opportunities and stalling Ali's opportunities. And they decide to have a match that night. And to be honest with you, I was very pleased with this match. Randy Orton being obviously the bigger, more stronger figure in this match against Ali, who's a much more agile, quick-paced kind of superstar. It really did work as well. If we got a feud between Randy Orton and Ali, that would work out great. But yeah, it was definitely one of the best, more surprisingly best matches of the night, in my opinion. A few times Ali tried to go for the 054, but it just didn't work out. Randy Orton managed to get away from that. It looked like momentum was going stronger and stronger into Randy Orton's side, but Ali managed to, again, he managed to pull off probably one of the best, most intriguing counters to the RKO I've ever seen. He goes for the Randy hits the RKO, but Ali manages to literally get his arms up in time, do like a handstand and flip himself back up. What a way to counter the RKO. Then he goes for a face plant onto Randy Orton, but before he can do it, an RKO out of nowhere. Randy Orton does win But after the match, Randy Orton is staring at Ali. He even taps him on the leg after he pins him, like, and kind of nods like, yeah, you did good, kid. You did very good. I think this is a lot of respect for someone like Ali. I think WWE, obviously, Randy Orton is still seen as a major figure, and Michael Cole even stated he predicts that Randy Orton will hold another world title in the upcoming, in the future, which I can see as well. But Ali, for me, is someone who could definitely hold a mid-card title, like the US title or the IC title on the brand, easily. But yeah, definitely a great showing for Ali. I just want to see more Ali on TV, and I'm glad he got a pay-per-view match on Hell in a Cell. Another match which was added later on onto the card was the women's tag team title match, where we saw Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross taking on the Kabuki Warriors of Asuka and Kairi Sane. Again, I was a bit mixed about this one when I first heard about it, because I was watching the WWE Now thing, where they do like before the pay-per-view, a few hours before the kickoff show, they talk about any upcoming matches, anything like that, any exclusives, and they added this one onto there, and I was like, oh right, okay, do we need that? Do we need that match added on? But again, a very good match. Seeing as it was put on last minute, again, like Ali and Randy Orton, I think the women involved had a decently strong match. And surprisingly, the Kabuki Warriors were using heel tactics, something we haven't seen Kairi Sane ever use. Asuka, we kind of saw a little bit more when her at NXT time. She's been more primary a babyface since she got the call up from NXT. So we haven't seen the aggressiveness of her heel character for a long time. Kairi Sane, on the other hand, has never ever shown a heelish characteristics at all, and this was a nice little change. Obviously, Nikki Cross and Bliss were more, well, we've seen them both use heel tactics before, but they came across more like the baby faces in this match, which did work in their favour. I loved it where Kairi was doing the Pirates march straight to jump into a running jump into Alexa Bliss in her corner, but she obviously walked into Cross, who was in her corner, finger poked her, then did the running jump into Bliss, which I was like, oh my god, Kairi, that's not like you. But yeah, Asuka was as well very more aggressive. This was a lot more aggressive from the Kabuki Warriors, which we needed to see. But yeah, a very strong match. Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss's chemistry is still there, very strong. And we got a green mist from Asuka. She hit Nikki Cross with the green mist after Kairi Sane and Alexa Bliss took each other out on the side aprons. And then Asuka pinned and won the women's tag team titles for her and Kairi Sane. Great. What can I say? I think this is probably a smart move, having Bliss drop the titles. I think they really do want to have Bliss now going back to a singles competitor. I think Nikki Cross has proven herself now to be able to go for a singles gold. And Kairi Sane and Asuka, I really wanted them to go their own separate ways and rebuild themselves as singles competitors, but giving them the gold, this could be very interesting. Michael Cole did announce that the titles will still be cross-branded, so that will be interesting. It'll be interesting when Kairi and Asuka are drafted to on the draft on Friday. But yeah, I think Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss have done a hell of a lot of good work with those women's titles, a lot better than the Iconics. So yeah, strong match, good match, nothing spectacular, but that green mist ending was absolutely brilliant. It got a lot of people talking. Then we had the OC versus the Viking Raiders. Now, it was the full OC, so it was Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows and AJ Styles taking on the Viking Raiders and a mystery partner. Now, this one was really weird. Now, this never got announced, yet it got linked onto Wikipedia about an hour before the show. So people weren't sure if this match was going to happen or not, but it did. Again, I was really confused about this. There was no build up to this match. The Viking Raiders got to choose their own mystery partner. They chose Braun Strowman, obviously using Braun because of their build up for Tyson Fury's mic interview, which he's going to have tomorrow night on Raw. So he's one of the bigger talking points after SmackDown's move to Fox. So that could be interesting. But yeah, the match itself, a hard-hitting match. Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows and AJ Styles really working well against the Viking Raiders and Braun Strowman. The minute Braun Strowman came out, I was kind of concerned. I thought, oh, this isn't going to end well. I don't understand, because the OC really had quite a bit of momentum, and now it's kind of getting demolished bit by bit by bit, especially by Braun Strowman. Again, they really want to push Braun Strowman to be that monster again on WWE, but the OC are something different. We need factions like the OC on WWE TV. So it was kind of like one of those more irritating things, but they really did do a great job. They managed to take out the Viking Raiders, and then when Braun Strowman was tagged in, AJ Styles went for the legs. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, when it looked like AJ was in trouble, went for the legs as well. So they really destroyed Braun Strowman's legs at the end. Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows and the Viking Raiders took each other out. It ended in disqualification because the OC attacked Braun Strowman in a pack. The referee really didn't give it much time. He just ended it straight away once the pack attack, which is weird because it's a 6-man tag team match, and we've seen them have this before where all members will attack the bigger guy for a little bit. The referee will just give him a 5 count, but he didn't even really give him a 5 count. He just ended the match in DQ, which was for me a bit like, oh, right, you kind of protecting Braun Strowman and the OC makes kind of sense there. AJ, it looks like he's going to go for the phenomenal elbow onto Braun Strowman, a weakening Braun Strowman, but he uses a knockout punch in Big Show's knockout punch onto AJ Styles, and that's it. That's the end of the segment. AJ, the best bit is AJ selling at the end. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are trying to get him out of the ring. AJ's like he's alright, and he has spaghetti legs and he's falling all over himself. Absolutely brilliant. I thought AJ Styles made that even better. You know, they could have just had it go to commercials, but no, they had AJ sell that KO punch. And then he's like, yeah, and then at the top of the ramp, he's holding the title, like, yeah, and then spaghetti legs. Brilliant, absolutely loved it. Next up, we had Chad Gable versus Baron Corbin. This was again a match. It was not announced. It just happened, and they put it on the pay-per-view. And I'm kind of glad they did, because these guys have absolutely been stealing SmackDown and Raw with their feud, and I think it really has worked out in their best for their best, because it's been that sleeper rivalry where everyone's kind of really enjoyed it. Baron Corbin cuts a promo on Chad Gable before the match starts and renames him Shorty Cable, which really annoyed me because the commentators and interviewers started referring to him as Shorty Gable. No, that is not acceptable, okay? No. But luckily Michael Cole continued to call him Chad Gable. Thank you, Michael Cole. I never thought I'd say that. But what a match, and it was a strong match. Really weird, though. It was a good match. Chad Gable has that ability to really make his opponent look really, really good. And Baron Corbin is that type of guy, a heel, which we just nuclearly hate. And yet, the fans, for some strange reason, were just not interested. And it really irritated me. Because I was like, this is a really good match. This is a good wrestling match. And we're getting it on a pay-per-view. We're giving guys like Chad Gable an opportunity onto a pay-per-view. And the crowd just weren't interested. And they started chanting boring. And that got me. That got me because I was like, hold on. This is actually a really good match. Chad Gable's selling was fantastic. He managed to get a kick out of all of Corbin's moves. And then he pins Corbin, which is a big victory for Chad Gable. Because, let's be honest, Corbin is top tier, mid-card section. So he's at the top of the mid-card. Chad Gable's in the middle of the mid-card. That's a huge victory for him. That could elevate him up to the top of the mid-card section. And that was near the end. Finally, the crowd realised it was actually a good match. And I was like, this was a good match from the start to the end. And yet you were chanting boring halfway through. What is wrong with you people? It was one of the most irritating. And I am tired. I am very tired because I stayed up all night watching this. But my God, screw that crowd for that one. Because I can agree with what they were chanting at the end of the pay-per-view, but not during this match. So, nah, screw them. Good match, fantastic match. Shame about the crowd. Then we had the SmackDown Women's Championship match where we saw Bayley versus Charlotte Flair. This, again, is good match between two strong women wrestlers. To be honest, this one was the most predictable one to go for. I do like Bayley. I think her character has evolved really well since she's become a SmackDown Women's Champion. Her heel persona has really worked out. But Charlotte Flair, with Fox taking over SmackDown, they need someone who is a big name. And Charlotte Flair is up there with Becky Lynch as one of the biggest names in the women's division. So it just kind of made sense. The match itself was well worked. Bayley did fantastic work. She really worked Charlotte's leg, which was different. We are obviously always see Charlotte working the leg, but it would look like Bayley was going for that instead. And she even tried to go for the figure four a few times to make Charlotte submit with her own father's finisher, which was awesome. That if they had gone for that finish, I would have gone, yeah, very well done, WWE. Well done. I would have taken that. But no, it was the most predictable finish, but it was a decent match. Charlotte did finally beat Bayley by putting her into the figure eight. Bayley did tap out. Good selling by Charlotte Flair throughout this whole match on the leg. The only thing which kind of got me is the figure eight does use the leg as well, and I was kind of like, oh, can we sell that leg a little bit more, like her struggling to get the figure eight fully up? That could have been very interesting, but they didn't. Bayley does tap out. End of the match, Bayley's in tears. She's absolutely, and Charlotte's there celebrating. She does continue selling the leg afterwards. She walks up the ramp. Bayley is getting into like a tantrum. Could we see another evolution of Bayley? Maybe a more aggressive, maybe change the whole goody-goody kind of character now and go full-on heel with Bayley, where she just gives up the ponytail and all the bright colours and the inflatable men and just goes dark Bayley, evil Bayley. Maybe that could be a different change, something we haven't seen from Bayley. So for me, good match, predictable ending, but it needed to be done for Fox, and you can see why they did it. Now this gets us to the ending. I don't really want to talk about it because it started off really well. The Fiend was absolutely brilliant. Seth Rollins just did what he needed to do. So Bray Wyatt is a genius, no matter what. And people online are stating that this is ruined the Fiend for him. No, Bray Wyatt is smart enough and creative enough to protect himself. This might be a slight knockback for the Fiend character, but I don't think it's going to affect him too long. It's just a shame that the writers and creative team really put themselves into his corner with the Fiend and Seth Rollins. They could have done so much. But as you know, I think everyone all around the world knows what happened in this one. The match ended in DQ. Again, this is the second year on the trot now that Hell in a Cell matches ended in this way. And the crowd were not happy. They were chanting refunds, AEW, bullshit. They weren't happy, and I wasn't really happy. I thought this was a absolute disgrace to both Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt. They've done a good job building up this feud. Yes, do I think it was too early for the Fiend? Yeah, of course I did. But I thought they managed to put on a great feud, make it interesting, make it one of the most talked about feuds on WWE TV. And then obviously they had no way of getting out of it, and that's the shame. Seth Rollins hits the Fiend with a dozen stomps and the Fiend just keeps getting up. That the no selling from Bray Wyatt was brilliant. I really don't understand how it should have. I honestly, I was trying to work out beforehand, before the match even started. I was talking to some friends and we were all like, how are they going to protect the Fiend and yet have Seth Rollins still hold the title? Because we knew that was going to happen. We knew that Seth wasn't going to lose the title, but we needed a way to protect the Fiend. My way was a lot more smarter than what WWE went for, and I will tell you my my plan for this would have been: Hulk comes out, he breaks down the cage, leg drop, and reforms the NWO. That would have been a lot more sensical than what we had at this Hell in the Cell match. But yeah, it honestly, just honest to God, I was annoyed. I was really angry with this one. And I can understand why fans were annoyed. And it's like, again, the chance for refunds, chance for change for AEW, that's really going to help AEW a lot. And WWE need to look at that, because you got Hell in a Cell, anything can happen. Look at Becky, look at Sasha Banks. They managed to put on a great match. The whole match, the way it was performed, right to the end, was really good, and that ending just absolutely twisted this pay-per-view. And it's amazing how one just an ending to a match, not just a match, the main event has turned a good pay-per-view, not a great pay-per-view, a good pay-per-view, into an awful, terrible pay-per-view. Now, if you missed everything to right to the end and just went, right, I'm gonna miss the last couple of bits, then that would have been a good pay-per-view. We'd gone home and gone, that was actually a good pay-per-view. There was not much to build up to it, but we had a good pay-per-view. But we didn't get that. And that's WWE's creative's fault, and that they need to look into that. Especially now that we're going into a new era. Corey Graves did kind of tweet back a sarcastic tweet like, well, it's like we're rebooting or something. Who would thought? But yeah, Corey, it still doesn't mean you can kind of screw out the fans. But yeah, there was a cool little bit at the end, and I don't think really much of the fans really paid attention because obviously the match had ended, but there was this awesome bit where the mandible claw was placed into Seth's mouth after the match. He already used this to Abigail on the cement, and he put the mandible claw into Seth's mouth and blood was coming out. That was really cool. The Fiend did attack. It was a sledgehammer to the Fiend's face, which caused a DQ. Yeah, pretty much the fans were not interested once the match got kicked out, and I'm not really talking about the match, I'm talking about what happened at the end, which is a shame. But yeah, the Fiend, again, I think Bray Wyatt will be fine. I think there won't be too much loss there for WWE. But damn that ending. And there you go, guys, that was Hell in the Cell. We did have another title change throughout the night. We saw Carmella lose the 24/7 title to Tamina, and then R-Truth won the title back after Carmella super kicked Tamina in the face. And R-Truth, what were WWE Creative doing? You had Fanuki right there, and no one thought, oh, just give him the time and have R-Truth pin him. That would have just worked. But yeah, that again. So what am I going to score Hell in a Cell 2019? Well, if we got right to the end, I would have given this, before that ending, probably a 2.5. I would have given it a 2.5. I thought 2.5 was a fair score. Everything else was mediocre. The one really good match was like a 3.5, which was Becky and Sasha Banks. I thought that was really good. The last match was a 1. So I think because I don't want to take away from every other match just because of one ending, but that ending really did upset a lot of fans. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 stars. I think that's still putting into account all the good matches, everything everyone else did. Just that sucky ending. But what was your favourite match of the night? It definitely wasn't going to be Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins, was it? Leave it in the comments below. Let's talk about something positive from Hell in the Cell. Give me your favourite part from Hell in the Cell, guys. Let's just talk about that in the comments. if you do like these videos, remember to like, subscribe, and press that bell to keep notified. If you want to follow me on the old Twitter, it's at Boyze88. If you want to follow the channel, it's at Smack Talk YouTube. And I'll see you guys next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.